All right, next one is next is a Jared Aviat. Subject is old school cage matches. Hi, K100 fam. I miss the old school cage matches where guys would fight and struggle to escape the cage instead of the usual pinfall submission gimmick. My favorite cage match of all time was SummerSlam '91 with Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. And the psychology of both men trying their hardest to escape the cage is amazing. Why do you think old school cage match psychology is a lost art? And do you think the old school cage match concept and premise could still work today? Regardless, and it's all the best. Jared Avat. Number one, Jared, is that ever since blood got taken out of professional wrestling, basically, or mostly, cage matches kind of became passe. So you didn't see them with near the frequency that they used to have. So a lot of guys just do not have any experience doing them because over the
Plus,
course of time,
a
they
lot of
just
stuff.
very good.
Plus, a lot of stuff from before is not implemented anymore, like selling,
Right.
psychology. Because when you go to school, wrestling school, they don't teach you psychology. They basically teach you, high spots and stuff like that. And everybody wants to go out there and fly and not tell a story. And the majority of them, you know what I'm saying? So we've lost a lot of stuff from before. How to
Well,
punch.
right.
Yeah.
And the concept of the cage match, okay, was
Right.
usually a
Selling it,
chick.
looking at it.
Well, here's the thing. Let me give you the psychology to lead up to the cage match. Was usually your heel. Okay, they kept trying to get away from the baby face until, and they're fighting for the titles. There's obviously big stakes involved, and that
Yeah.
leads up to the fact. Okay, well, we throw him in a steel cage where he can't escape.
Right.
So the gimmick is okay. Whoever can escape, like okay, if you can escape, you can win the match. But we're throwing you in this
Right.
in the ring with this guy, and you can't get anywhere. You have to escape, which
Right.
is a good concept to sell to the fans. It's like you want the heel to get his ass kicked, and he's getting thrown in the cage with the baby face, who's
Right.
been
Right.
dying to kick this guy's ass. He keeps
And the
running
matches
away.
before, he's always escaping
Right,
or
right.
running
So it's
away.
Like
so it's always been
Brett
a good
versus
draw.
Owen, you know.
Right. It's always been a good draw, and it's always turned into a bloody. Usually the heel has to bleed. This is where he's getting his come up. It's everything, but it's always been a good spot for like a good like heated finish too, where the heel escapes and wins. Stuff like which
Right.
happens quite a lot, like the bloody heel. Stuff. So yeah, and you get
A
get
great
even more
example
heat.
of that. Great example of that, DIs. And I don't think they never did this feud on TV too much, as far as I remember. Piper and Rude did like a house show cage run. Now imagine that. Piper's all pissed off. The babyface Rude's
Yeah.
the cocky guy that's been with them, throw him in the cage.
Well, that's the funny thing too about the cage, and specifically when we talk about like Hell in the Cell, is cage like I talked about the booking of cage matches and how they came to how you book up to a cage match, but then all of a sudden it's like since they started taking cage matches out and like Hell in a Cell was a deal, it just became a seasonal thing. Like we're going to have a cage match in September. A Hell in a Cell, like okay, so you have to write your TV to kind of lead up to the cage at the cup, but that doesn't really happen anymore, So cage matches right now are just gimmicks. They're not really
Right.
storyline thing. Yeah.
Right.
Next is from Scott Ledson, and the subject is question for Disco. Hello, gents. First time emailer on a recent Kevin Nash click this podcast on the NWO special. They briefly mentioned former WCW pro wrestlers among 27 people wrestling a gambling raid at a commercial poker game. Can Disco tell us the backstory to this? We'd love to hear the backstory to this from the GOAT himself. Okay, first of all,
This comes up every year or so.
and it's already just Joe reference the old thing. The story's too long to tell.
I'll
Just
send
tell
it
me
if I can find it on YouTube or the show where you talk about it. I'll send it back to them.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, we just got to. They had misinformation on our game. They thought it was a high stakes buy-in poker game, like $10,000 buy-in. It wasn't, and stuff. And then just and basically everybody got arrested and got disturbed. I think it was disturbing the peace, and I basically got off. So whatever.
But
Next,
did you ever find out who told on you or no?
no,
Yeah.
we never.
Wasn't it like Neighbors or something? I mean,
Well,
you
this
probably
is
don't know. Yeah.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Next
thought I
is
read
some
that in a story once.
Yeah. Next is some Ed Rock, and the subject is territories. Hola Muchachos. Back in the 90s, there was an independent wrestling show in Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico. It was an outdoor event in the projects. A couple guys in lucha masks came in with machine guns. Shot the promoter 18 times. He didn't survive.
I don't think
My
he
question
would.
is, anything like that happened when Conan or Disco wrestled in and around Puerto Rico? Thanks for always keeping it a buck. Conan, why don't you tell all the stories about how guys were coming in and shoot the promoters in Puerto Rico?
I never saw that happen in Puerto Rico, but there was a lot of violence on the street. That's for damn sure.
Do this. Joe, look that up to see if that's accurate, because this guy's talking about a wrestling show in Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico. Try to Google the circumstances on this and see if that actually happened. Because if this guy's giving misinformation, we might have to suspend him from the mailbag.
Okay.
Next one's from Timothy Colon. Subject is Managers NWO Diesel Best Woman Match. Hi, K100. I have a few questions I hope you all can answer on your show. Number one, will Managers ever come back the way it was with Heenan, Jimmy Hart, Cornette, Slick, Elizabeth, Baby Doll, J.J. Dillon? It's part of wrestling is missed. I like seeing Heenan family type faction, one manager with multiple heels that aren't affiliated. Will there ever be a faction with as many members as the NWO in the U.S.? And many people thought it ruined it, but I thought it was kind of cool at one point. There's so many members come out at one time and only care that Hogan was world champion, that they made a lot of money and got other titles. Number three, was Diesel the first to put a middle finger up in television when he did to Undertaker Royal Rumble? Do you think that Vince okayed this, or did he do it because it was lacking? Number four, what do you consider the best female wrestling match of all time that sets the standard? And thanks, that's from TC from Brooklyn. Let me ask you a question. Off the top of your head right now, Joe, all right? List all the current managers in wrestling that come to mind right off the top of your head.
Heyman and Callis.
Who else?
Well, Scarlett's more of a valet. Sanjay Dutt kind of is a manager, right?
Okay.
Sinister Minister, but only because I like him and I see he does NWA stuff.
Okay.
Raven, I guess, is a manager in MLW. That's really all I can think of, right?
What about like Jose the Assistant?
Oh yeah, and,
Abraham Abrahantes,
and the guy from the
Prince Nana
from Zack Ryder's show that we talk about. What's his name? Mark Sterling.
Mark Sterling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not like. I mean, back in the day, we had Cornette.
Talk about a lost art. That's a lost art.
It is a lost art. I mean, like none of those managers.
Do these guys even look at tapes of managers to see what they're supposed to do? Because they have no clue. Most of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is most of the managers that were good, you wanted to hear what they had to say. There's so many managers right now, you don't give a what they have to say, because they're not interesting. They don't know what to do. Like, they just don't know the art, Do
you think, based off his recent appearances on the show, Di, that Larry Dallas could be an effective, obnoxious heel manager?
No. He's just obnoxious. He doesn't have to be a manager.
Right. He's trying to get over on us too.
And so this is for even bringing that up.
Yeah.
I didn't know. He's been around a while, but he used to be a regular on Busted Open too. It's not like this is his first podcast shot. Really, he's done some other stuff too.
Big deal.
Will there be a faction as many members as NWO again? No.
Was that a big deal to you that he was on Busted Open Disco?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I've never listened to
Why would you bring it up?
I've never listened to that show. Was Diesel the first to put up a middle finger? I think so. And the best female wrestling match of all time that sets the standard? I don't know. You got a female match of all time that sets the standard?
Probably something with Charlotte and Sasha, right? Or maybe Charlotte and Becky.
Bro, all those matches were blown away by
Charlotte
the
and
Japanese
Rhea.
Girls.
Yeah, but Charlotte and Rhea was really good too. Yeah.
But all those matches were blown away by
like Bull Nakano against
right.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you. No.
Manami Toyota. Go to the '90s Japanese wrestling matches. They were incredible.
I'll tell you this: best matches for like heat and storytelling was Gail Kim and Tara
and Terrell.
No, Kong.
Okay. Yeah,
absolutely. Excellent storytelling. I would say those are the standards, because you had a big giant heel against a athletic baby face. So that I don't know.
So I saw a great match at NXT once live in WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been in Dallas. I think it was Bayley and Sasha. That match was incredible. Really good.
I'd have to go with Brooke Tessmacher and Velvet Sky was probably my top female wrestling match.
Interesting. Next is from Kyle Barnett. Does weight classes work in today's world of pro wrestling? Hey, K100 career. Recently read about the WWE perhaps pushing a new light heavyweight title.
Oh, God.
But I was wondering your guys' opinion. Does weight classes work in today's scene of pro wrestling? Me personally, I feel like it's limiting someone based on their size is a hard label to shrug off. But for every one of Rey Mysterio's in the world, there's always 10 other guys who can never rise above that label of a weight class like cruiserweight and such. Dean Malenko is one of the best in-ring talents WCW had in their history, in my opinion, but could never overcome the label of cruiserweight. MMA boxing has thrived off weight classes. That's a completely different discipline of sports entertainment. Also, those competitors don't perform on a weekly basis, so changing up the events is so hard to do. But anyways, do you believe that such divisions like a light heavyweight class would work for WWE or will sink in like the cruiserweight division has done for them twice before? I'm not, bro. Anything that they're doing to add more belts, I'm not a fan of. So I couldn't care less about adding a light heavyweight title. You guys got any comments?
Well, in Mexico, we do have weights, and it works very well in Mexico. But that's Mexico.
Yeah, I don't think WWE will never take it seriously, and for some reason, that audience isn't. They're conditioned to not really care about a cruiserweight belt because of the way it's been presented before. You know.
Next is from Timothy Colon again. It's going to get suspension for 2 mailbag questions same week. Subject is HBK, Diesel, Pamela Anderson. Hi K100. At WrestleMania 11, Pam Anderson was supposed to work with the winner of the Royal Rumble to the ring. Was supposed to walk with the winner of the Royal Rumble to the ring. Can this type of stipulation still work with so many female wrestlers in the business? Also, what current female celebrity could fill that role? Good grief! What this, dude? Timothy Colon. How much wrestling do you watch? I mean, like, do you really want an answer to this question?
Well,
I don't even know what you. Was.
I'm sure Joe would answer it. What do you think, Joe?
I would ask
like,
you because you know more about the current music scene, and it seems like that's the Pam Andersons of this time, like the hot music chicks. Like I see them as probably having posters on the wall, you know, but I don't know any of their names. So,
well, I'm sure you know Taylor Swift. I'm sure you know Cardi B. You know,
yeah, I was. Who's it? Is it Lil Baby or something? I saw a clip of her the other day. She seems to be pretty popular.
Lil Baby, that's a guy.
That's not okay. That's not even right. So you know,
yeah. She seems pretty hot. You know, that's a guy. Next is Brandon Triano. This Brendan Triano, something just being a good friend. What's good? It's the mayor of K100. Thanks again for the opportunity to do the pay-per-view roundtable. It was cool to chill with y'all. Harry Ruiz is dope. So on the show, Conan spoke about how Disco doesn't show up to important events. Stuff that is right down the street he can't go to, but Disco can fly coach to get a $2 slice and a cream cheese bagel. Not even a bacon and egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. You're probably not even going to say, let me get before ordering. Conan, I'm sorry that Disco would rather get half apps at Applebee's with Abaddon than be there for his friend. My question this week is, when you guys were in Jersey, my home state, what were some of your favorite diners you ate at if you did? We are known for many things, good and bad, but mobbed up diners are top of the list. Which list do you decide? Disco, did you ever order disco fries? Mozzarella gravy and fries. Yes, that is what they're called in basically every New Jersey diner. P.S. Can't wait to see you guys at my wedding. If you could only make the reception, that's good too. We are having good Italian food in an open bar. My fiance said Joe is allowed to sing too. And that sounds like a suggestion which is not taken and honestly should result in her suspension from the mailbag because that is brutal to even think about. Please and thank you. I don't recall any of the names of the Jersey diners. I think I only went to 1 or 2 during our travels because we always be in New York. Jersey Northeast diner food is off the chain.
Yeah.
Sandwiches are just stacked. They give you like tons of food and stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I don't know what they're like. Do you ever go to diners in San Diego, Conan?
Yeah.
Do they give you? Is it like New York where they give you like the tons of food or different? You know?
Yeah, you know what? I was watching this show. I just watch random sometimes, and you know the diner, the shape of the restaurant that looks like a train.
Yeah.
And the silver, construction architecture, right?
Right.
Well, originally the diners came because dining cars, dining cars on trains. That's what they got an actual dining car train, and that's what they used as diners at the beginning. You know,
that's
why it looks like that.
As far as Disco traveling and missing things, now that it was revealed, like I think it's the first time you said it on the show, Conan, that we were going to do a K100 at the NWA anniversary or something, and Disco declined. There's been a major heat in the Discord since then. So,
well, I don't get Discord notifications anymore since I got a new phone because I didn't download Discord. So
right.
Those guys are free. You know what? I think I'm going to do it though. I think I'm going to download the Discord and start suspending people, especially if they're is my good name being slurred in the Discord show?
Besmirched.
A little bit here and there. A little
All
bit.
right,
Here
well I'm gonna get in there, and there will be some suspensions.
You're missing all the
Like-
good
Do
stuff
you remember
in the
like
Robert.
there always gets my quote from the I went like the movie Platoon had great quotes, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna say like the part where he goes, where the guy goes, let me tell you something. If there was an illegal killing, there will be a court martial. So that's my attitude about
Jeez.
the Discord right now. There will be court martials if there was illegal activity, mainly besmirching my name.
Mhm.
Next is also Garrison. Somebody says, who's best? This is an interesting question because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Hey guys, a few weeks ago, you guys got asked a question about if Roman Reigns on the level of legends like Hogan, Austin, Bret Hart, etc. And I say that not only is he on their level, but in my opinion, Roman Reigns has surpassed Bret Hart. So what I would like to hear from you guys that when it comes to Bret Hart versus Roman Reigns, who is better? Okay, Bret Hart is a better worker, but Roman Reigns' run right now has been better than Bret Hart's run. Because, bro, in the year 2023, where it's, he's made himself unbeatable. There isn't anybody out there whose character is strong enough to go over on him. And that's an testament to how well he's preserved his character and how good he works. Would you agree with that, Conan?
Yep. But they got to find somebody to take that belt off of him.
Well, he's like doing a Floyd Mayweather gimmick right now.
Yep.
I sent you guys that footage.
But you got to give the rub to somebody else, bro.
Right.
He's already as over. How much over are you going to get him? You know what I'm saying?
Did you see the clip of
what I used to say about Cena all the time? He's already over. You don't got to keep, go ahead. What?
Did you see the clip from Mayweather and John Gotti Jr. this weekend?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know though the John Gotti III is a boxer, but I guess he's pretty decent. But why did he go after Mayweather after the fight? Did you find out? Do we know what happened?
They were before and during the fight, and the referee kept telling him, "Hey, knock it off, knock it off." And I think he was going to stop the fight, and he got even more mad and just kept punching.
Did you guys know about that fight in advance? Because I saw a lot of people commenting, like, "Dude,
I can't believe that."
Because
it was on some. Because
go ahead.
It was on some weird platform called Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and there was no betting on it, so people think it might be a word.
And Mayweather looked different, didn't he, with the beard? And I thought he was somebody else.
He's older, man. He's 40-something years old.
Yeah. Why is he wrestling John Gotti III, dude? I mean,
just because he's retired and he's just doing exhibitions for money because he's a degenerate gambler.